Hello and welcome back to the Boxing Best podcast with me, Ollie.
And me, Lewis.
And today we are joined by former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion,
Mr. Sam Sexton. Sam,
thanks
thank
for having
you
me.
Thank you for coming along. Thank you for coming along. As if you're here on our podcast. This is our fourth one, and so we've got Sam Sexton.
Proper guest.
I'm a bit starstruck, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, there was times when on a Saturday night my mates would be going out and I'd stay in to watch your fights.
Is that right, yeah?
Yeah.
Good man.
On
You got your
Box
priorities
Nation.
there, yeah?
Yeah.
Got the priorities
Yeah.
right, haven't we? Got the priorities right.
We thought to go through this, we'd just go through your life, your boxing career, starting with, I guess, how you got into boxing and how did that come about?
It was kind of like your typical story, really. I mean, I was getting a lot of trouble at school, a lot of trouble on the streets. You know, the famous mile cross where I grew up. Fighting every day, really, and it got to the point where it was getting a bit too much. The school started threatening me to be expelled.
Right.
My mum said, "Right, we're going to do something about this," and my mum and my dad took me to the gym, and that's the rest of the history. I just stayed there.
Yeah. What gym was it that you went to?
It was Norwich Broadside Gym at the time, and it was at
On Derek Road?
no, it was Elm Hill Church at the bottom.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was in a church. I remember going in there, and it was proper spit and sawdust.
Was it?
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was. Yeah, but there was some good boxers in there and stuff. And I can remember seeing Mark Whitworth in there. He's now the head coach of Broadside now, isn't he?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a good boxer, and I kind of looked up to him. He would actually let me use him as a punch bag. So, you know, just like I'd just whack away at his body and just like, yeah, come on, boy, come on. And I'd just like whack away. And I remember my dad having a conversation with one of the trainers at the time, and I was kind of like listening as I was shadowboxing at the time. And my dad said, "So how long do you think before he boxes?" And I was 11, I was a bit chubby, you know, I was going through the chubby stage. And he kind of looked at my dad and said, he's never going to box. You know what I mean? I just thought, you bastard. I'll show you. And that's probably down to him, to be honest with you, that I stuck to it, because I'm quite a stubborn person, do you know what I mean? And then,
You need that sometimes, that sort of negative outlook to actually
exactly.
push you further,
I've always been the sort of person who's going to be like, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah.
Did you take to boxing straight away, or did it take a few sessions to like? Really
no, I did take to it straight away. I really enjoyed it, but I can remember they put me with a lad. I was probably about 60 kilos at the time, and they put me with a lad who was about 85, and he hit me on the nose, and that's the first time I've been hit properly, and he was a lump, and I can remember just thinking, oh, for fuck's sake.
I don't like that.
Do you know what I mean? But it's just like everyone looked at me, expected me to just get out of the ring, and I didn't. My initial reaction is just to go back at him and give him a.
Yeah,
give him
everyone
something,
reacts
you know what I mean?
differently to that, right?
Everyone's got a plan. Same as Michael Tyson said. Everybody's got a plan to get punched in the mouth.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly right. You know.
And did you said your mum and dad took you down there? Were they boxing people at all, or did they just think that would sort you out? Or
Not really. I mean, my dad's always been into like boxing and martial arts and stuff and kickboxing. He's done bits and pieces of everything. So my brother came with me. There's a few lads from the estate actually came at the same time, but I was the only one who sort of stuck with it really.
You beat them all up, sort of, wasn't it? And was that straight amateurs then you started with, or?
Yeah, so then I had my first fight, and my first fight was actually, I went to a show in Elsham, and you know it's like you just go and weigh in, just to get a meal ticket sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
I thought, I get a meal ticket, I'll weigh in. About half an hour later, trainer comes in, he said, "There's a fight here if you want it." I was like, "What?" I didn't have any kit or anything.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then." And next thing you know, I'm on first.
You're in
and I'm fighting a schoolboy champion who's had 15 fights. And I'm like,
bloody hell.
There we go. And I lost on points, but it wasn't a bad fight. And
It's an experience.
First
it's
fight, if you fight a schoolboy
it,
champion, you can't really, like you say, you can't.
I got my first little trophy. Yeah, it was good.
And that make you want more, like you say, if you say people, if they say something to you, you want to prove them wrong, that's almost the same with losing sometimes, and if you lose a fight, you think...
You see, the thing is with losing, right, there's two ways you can go. You get some good fighters who are really good fighters, and you know, they're like world champions in the gym, and they get their first loss and they can't come back from
it. They never do it again, yeah.
They can't do it ever again, do you know what I mean? And then you get the other people who are like, right, I know how that feels, I don't want to feel like that again, so I'm going to train harder now.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was always like that, you know?
Yeah, use it to spur you on.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I think boxing is a cruel sport in terms of losses as well, and like, even with UFC, if you lose, there's people who repeat champions with like 10, 15 losses. Whereas in boxing, if you lose, you're crap. That's basically what people think.
You can't never win. You know, you're the best thing since sliced bread.
You get one loss, they're like, oh, you're terrible.
Yeah. How many fighters are there with an O? There's not very many, is there? Like, especially over the course of a career. Like, the only one I can think of off the top of my head really is Mayweather.
Yeah.
Like, and to be fair, it's a lot more pressure. And you know, when you kind of lose your first fight, it's like it's a bit of a weight lifted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's not as much pressure anymore.
I suppose the longer you go unbeaten, you think, oh, bloody hell, like,
you expected to win. You expected to do big things, didn't you? Do you know what I mean? So it is a hard game, but there's no buzz like it. You know, you're boxed, do you know what I mean? You can't beat that buzz, can you?
You can't explain it to people, really. It's just sort of so scary, but so...
There's no drug that will ever come close to that feeling after you win a fight.
Terrified, then you have the fight, and then afterwards it's just, well, it's awesome. You just feel...
Well, it's not even winning the fight, is it? It's no buzz even just coming out.
It's just the whole thing, walking out, people cheer. Obviously, you've fought on a lot bigger scale than we've fought on, but just the whole buzz from it is awesome.
Yeah.
And when you were an amateur, did you fight in like a schoolboy championship or anything like that? Or?
Well, I can remember I boxed in a couple of Eastern counties, and I won the Eastern counties, and then it was the Eastern counties or the zones. It was one of the two anyway, and there was 3 of us in the draw for that night. And I thought, I know it's going to be me who get the draw to fight twice. So I just knew it anyway. So I just sort of prepared myself for mentally, and it was me. So I fought the first guy, and I stopped him in I think it was the 3rd round.
Nice.
And then the second guy, big Turkish bloke, and I stopped him in the last round. So I won the Eastern counties then, and I went through to obviously all the way to the ABAs, and I won the ABAs. I was told I was fighting a short, stocky black fellow. So all day, because being a heavyweight on last, I sat next to this guy thinking it was him, just trying to psych him out, basically, all day. I was in the changing rooms, and then I walked out, and I was so geared up for this fight you would not believe. I had this adrenaline pump so hard. I was stood in the ring, and my opponent walks out, and he's 6'4" and he's white.
Oh God!
You know, and I was told he was a short, stocky black fellow.
So
I was so hyped up.
The other guy was terrified for his life all day.
That's it. I didn't even know what was going on, but yeah. And then, so that lasted 21 seconds, and I knocked him out in the first round. And there's actually a picture of me standing next to him because I'm so hyped up I don't want to stop. I'm kneeling down next to him, telling him to get up, and pushing me away. But,
I suppose that's if you've been hyped up for it for that long, all day, and that go over in 20 seconds, you just think.
I wanted more. Do you know what I mean? I was so geared up for that.
Who's next?
You find that bloke you're soaking out all day.
Just to apologise if anything. You know what I mean? Sorry, mate. But then after that, there was England scouts there, and they just asked me to come and do England trials, and I went there, and that was it. They said, we want you. Then they put me in a thing called the Four Nations up in Scotland.
Okay.
Four Nations. I went there and I got a gold medal there. And then I just stayed boxing for England after that. It was very hard to get club bouts after that, and all my fights were for England. So I'd go away, multinational tournaments, European championships, that kind of stuff. Won a few gold medals, a few bronze, silvers, and I think the last time I boxed was in Madrid. Yeah, it was Madrid. I was boxing the Spanish lad in the final.
Right.
Very comfortable, easy fight for me, to be fair. And I got a nosebleed. Not a bad nosebleed, just a little trickle of blood. And it was like one of them, and it was gone, you know. Anyway, the referee comes over and he gets looking at the dog comes up. He's a Spanish lad, and we're in Madrid, do you know what I mean?
Over.
Yeah, and they just called the fight. And after that, I just thought about enough of this. There's a lot of politics in amateur boxing, boxing international, do you know what I mean? It's like, they're very biased, and they don't like the English at all. They just see us as football hooligans, you know what I mean, everywhere we go. So, yeah. In fact, we were in Madrid it was like kind of like a Curry's type store. We were just looking at TVs. Next thing, our doors open, we're on the floor, arm response around us on the floor. Thought we were football hooligans because we had football tracksuits on. No, we had England tracksuits on, but they thought we were football hooligans. We explained that we were boxers, and they couldn't be any nicer. Yeah, they were lovely.
We don't represent ourselves very well football-wise.
No,
I don't think. How did the trials go for it? Like, what is a trial in boxing then?
So basically, you just go down. It was actually, they came to a place in Durham,
right?
And they just set up like a kind of like a temp camp, And we did that, and they said, yeah, we want to see you down in Crystal Palace. So then after that, I'd go down to Crystal Palace for like a week at a time, stay down there, lodge down there, and just, it was hard, tough training, but again, I'm stubborn, so I had to do it.
So like a fight camp then?
Yeah, so it'd be all sorts of stuff going on, but you mix with some nice people as well, because like, you know, when I was on the squad, you had people like Frankie Gavin, Amir Khan, Wardley Harrison, you know, and they're all actually nice guys, believe it or not. You know, some of them are a bit cheeky, but they're good fellas, yeah.
That's good. And how did you find it? So when did you get to a point as after that in Spain you thought I'll turn pro now? Or?
Well, I thought I was 20 years old, 20 or 21, and I just thought, right, there was possible trials to go for the Beijing Olympics, but that would have been another 4 years away, and I thought I'm going to be like 25 by then.
Yeah.
Do I really need to be hanging on? And then I just decided to go pro.
And your first fight was at Carrow, right?
It was, yeah.
How was that? That must have been a bit of a dream.
It was mega. It was mega. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is going to kill a lot of people, but I'm not a football fan at all. But obviously, Norwich, my home city, so like to fight at Carrow was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many people I think get that opportunity either, is like to fight in a venue like Carrow.
That's it. And for my first fight, that was thanks to John Faxon, really, because he was fighting for the title there.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time it was a boxing match at Carrow.
That was probably it.
Probably it, yeah. I mean, not that I can remember.
Yeah.
In any scale, anyway. Yeah, not that I can remember. And how did that compare? Obviously, amateurs, crowd-wise, amateurs is very different to a pro fight. Amateurs is
just full of mums who don't want to see the boys getting beat up. That's what it is. Honestly, it is. My mum was the worst for it. She, you know, I used to think, how are we going to get out of this arena sometimes after my mum had been shouting, do you know what I mean? But, you know, I said, I'm my little soldier, and that's the way she looked at it, you know. So,
well, yeah. My mum, obviously, again, different scale, but she's never even been to one of my fights.
Is she not?
Hates it. Yeah.
In the end, I did have to ban my mum from coming. Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, bless her.
I have seen a video before. I've seen a video that one chap's in a fight, and he's obviously getting a bit of a batter, and his mum just jumped in and she started chinning the other leg in the ring. Yeah. Obviously, in your career, you fought several big names, some of which are still boxing. Derek Chisora being one of them.
Yeah.
Funny character.
He got lucky with me twice, Derek did.
Yeah.
Not many people know this story, but when I boxed him the first time, it was a kind of case where both signed for Frank Warren. He had just fought a guy called Darren Morgan, and Darren Morgan was a massive, like 25 stone, I think he was, Darren Morgan. Like a Welsh guy.
That's a big bloke.
Yeah, he was a big, and he was a big puncher as well. And I remember watching Derek fight him at York Hall, and Derek struggled with him. And in my opinion, I think Derek lost because he got put down, but they didn't give him the count for it. They said it was a slip. It was a legitimate shot. We could see it was. Yeah. So anyway, Derek won that fight, and then obviously because they're trying to just play us off against each other, they said, well, Sam can fight Darren Morgan next. And I fought Darren Morgan, and I'd beat him quite comfortably. Yeah. You know what I mean? I did. So I thought in my head, silly thing to do. It's the only time I've done it, and the only, you know, I thought, well, it's always going to be an easy fight for me now. For 2 weeks, I just thought it was going to be a comfortable fight. I wasn't worried at all. And I was overly cocky about that. And 2 weeks before the fight, I was in an all-inclusive drinking holiday in Egypt. Just getting on the beer and stuff, and just thinking, I'll have a couple of weeks training when I get back, and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Big mistake. I was tired after about 2 rounds. I was just so tired. I was just punching on instinct, really. And he got me on the ropes, threw a few flurries at me. I know I wasn't never hurt in the fight, but I was just tucking up because I was just waiting to come back with my own, and the referee jumped in and stopped it. So
I think there's sort of a misconception about being hurt in a fight, because some people don't know what that means. That some people see a fight stopped, and you might not necessarily physically be hurt if you're not doing anything. I guess, like saying,
if you unanswered shots, the same thing happened. You know, people say about the Fabio Wardley fight the other week. Fabio done amazing. Yeah. Well, you can't take nothing away from Fabio. What a legend. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, people say, he stopped early. Parker, he was hurt at one point, but he had about 20 unanswered headshots. I mean, from someone like Wardley, he's one of the biggest punchers in boxing. Do you know what I mean?
Arguably, that could possibly have been stopped in the second round as well. When
there you go.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, if you're getting hit for a minute straight, not doing anything with big blokes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like Parker. He's a good fighter, but Wardley's like a local boy. I know he's in Ipswich, but you know, he's still one of our boys. He was from our gym. We've done a lot of sparring together.
How was that, sparring Fabio? Obviously, you sparred him a while ago now.
We've done a lot of rounds, we did. So it was like, when he first came, quite raw. you know, but he kept coming back. I just said, you know, whatever you do, just keep sparring, go everywhere sparring, because that's the experience you need. And he just kept coming back, and the sparring was getting more and more competitive. And then before I fought for the British title, he broke my nose. The week before I fought. But I didn't tell anyone. I thought there's no way I'm bragging at this fight now. So we kept that. But he's a nice fella though, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've not met him personally, but he came across very well on interviews and online sort of thing. Yeah, definitely.
He's always fella. Strong back then as well, because the power that he has, like some boxers you watch them, they clearly train to develop that power. But
after I see him doing what he's doing now, I kind of just think, actually my chin's alright. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, he caught me some blinding shots, you know what I mean? But
his power is just natural though.
He's just like, he's just a natural power. He you know, people, I think he's got the highest knockout rate of any unbeaten heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
6%.
That's something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty. And he's now getting to that point where he's fighting big names and he's putting them all over.
That's
so
it. Yeah.
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Chisora as well, I was just going to ask you. He's a bit of an interesting character. Is he actually like that in real life? Or is he just like, he is like it?
He's alright though, he's just like, it's a little bit like...
Because you see him on camera and you think, you never know if he's going to go insane and just throw a table.
He's almost like a WWE character. He's like the bad guy, Del Boy.
It's weird, because most people you meet in boxing, there's not many people you meet in boxing that you're not like. I mean, everyone in boxing is pretty humble, to be fair, and all good people. And like, we spent a lot of training camps together as well, you know. We had a good time up in Scotland, me and Chisora, when he fought Klitschko. But he's just a character, do you know what I mean? Some people are just like that, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Some people like all the bravado stuff, and some people are just like, I can't be bothered with it, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, you fought at a Prizefighter tournament as well.
First
one, professional.
Yeah, that was good. It's just like that suited me down to the ground. That tournament, we had some good training for that. Yeah. Obviously, there was a guy called Richard Burton, Hightower they called him, who was like up and coming, was beating everybody, and he was expected to win. And I just thought, well, and there was Pele Reid in the competition as well. He was known as a massive puncher. He was a really good fighter back in the day. And again, I thought, I'm going to get them both. I know I will in the draw, and I did. You know, so, and then like I said, he was expected to win it. But back then, I was like on my way up, and I was strong. Do you know what I mean? I felt strong. I felt like literally I got my runs and stuff. I mean, you know, Gary, don't you? We used to Gary used to go running with Neil and stuff, and I honestly felt as though I could run through a house. Really? I really did. Yeah, I felt so strong. Super strong. I can remember they'd do a thing where they mark time, and they would just stand still, and I'd just keep jogging ahead, and then when they shouted at me, I would then sprint as fast as I could back to them, and I used to panic because they were in the way. I think if I hit you, I'm going to kill you.
Stop.
If I literally couldn't stop. I felt like, it was mad. I was going, get away, get the bloody way. And they'd be like diving out the way of me, do you know what I mean? Just fucking run past and pull up, yeah.
Did you prepare for that tournament any differently to what you would in North?
You do.
Obviously, you've got the break in between, and it must be hard, like keeping warm and keeping loose, because you want to keep that rhythm.
Well, it's good because we had a good team. Obviously, like Graham really knows his stuff, and like we had some good sparring for that as well. And it was because it was like free freeze. We would spar like free freeze, and then I'd get out for 10-15 minutes, and we get someone else in, and we do another free freeze like that, and it was like perfect. But I can remember going out after the second fight. I went back to the change rooms, and it's like I don't know if I had a sugar crash or what, but I just literally felt like I was going to pass out. And I sat in the change rooms, and Graham sort of looked at me and said, "Are you all right?" Naturally, I've said, "Of course I am."
Yeah, fine.
You know what I mean? And at the time, I just felt I was going to pass out. And Neil comes over and he's got some one of them sachet, isotonic sachet. He's just giving me that, and I'm fine again. I'm back to normal again. Yeah, so it's just like it just happens like that sometimes.
I think as well, I guess, like you say, if you're having 3-minute rounds, them 3-minute rounds are different to a 12-round fight. You're pacing yourself, whereas that you've got 3 minutes just to go for it.
Exactly,
you've got them 3 adrenaline spikes.
Yeah,
as well,
but it's like up, down. That's the hard thing about it. But then I just saw I caught him with an overhand right. He wobbled, and I thought, that's it now, you're gone. And I just attacked, and the referee jumped in.
Yeah.
You know, he was very hurt, and if the referee wouldn't have jumped in, it would have been worse. Yeah.
You would have put him out. Yeah. No, definitely. That's quite interesting. Yeah, like I say, the 3-3 was sort of what we do. Obviously, not Prizefighter, but that is
But sometimes I would spar with amateur fighters, like top amateur level fighters, even when I was a pro. And for 3 rounds, they kicked my ass, mate. I would be in there, and they literally. I can remember saying to Graham, we had this Cuban amateur heavyweight came in, and we were sparring. I just thought he probably hit me with about 10 shots to my every one.
And you think, what the hell's going on? Yeah.
But only for 3 rounds, and then after that you take over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just a different type of training.
Yeah,
you know?
so if you can deal with, if you're in a longer fight, you can deal with that for a few rounds, and they can't do that for 12
For 3 rounds, I couldn't have beaten him if I had 10 arms, you know what I mean? Like, he was just bashing me a bitch, you know, I was just like,
Definitely. And then that Prizefighter tournament put you on the map a bit, really, didn't it?
It did, because the fight before I'd lost to Chisora.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to redeem this now, I need to do something good. So then I fought for the Prizefighter, and then I can remember seeing Martin Rogan was like on his way up and stuff, and he'd just knocked out, he's beaten everybody, and then he beat Wardley Harrison, and then he fought a guy called Matt Skelton, who was British and Commonwealth, and European champion at the time, and I thought there's no way he's going to be Skelton. Skelton's tough, we'd done a lot of sparring back in the day as well, and he's a very tough man, and Rogan stopped him, and I was just like, I just couldn't believe it. Yeah. And I remember going in the gym about a week later, not even a week later, a couple of days later, and I said, did you watch a fight to Graham? And he's like, yeah. I said, you know that Rogan? Yeah. I said, I'd love to fight him. He's made for me. He's a bully fighter. I hate bullies, yeah? He was like, oh, yeah. I said, yeah, okay. Anyway, about 2 days later, I walked in the gym and said, you know what you said about Rogan? You know, you'd love to fight him. He's a bully fighter. And yeah, he said, they're offering you the fight. Do you want it? I went, do you think I can beat him? Yeah. I said, do you think I can beat him? He said, yeah, you have to train hard for it. I said, we'll fight him then. So, and we did, yeah.
Obviously, I had a lot of media cover. I've watched some of the old interviews. Was it sort of a bit personal or not?
It was brutal over there. I've been all around the world everywhere, and the only place I've ever felt uncomfortable was in Belfast.
Yeah, obviously, and you've done it twice, which...
He had a big following, didn't he, as well?
I'll tell you, it was brutal, because what it was is, right, I mean, I know they've had a lot of troubles in Ireland, and I don't want to upset anyone, but I don't know anything about that. I was a kid when that was going on, do you know what I mean? So that was nothing to do with me. But what happened is I went to... we've done public workouts in different places, so sometimes, like, I know they have their, like, Catholic Protestant thing there, and but again, I don't know nothing about that. Do you know what I mean? That's nothing to do with me, and that's just politics. You know, I'm just there to box. But I went to certain Protestant gyms and I've done workouts, and I went to certain Catholic gyms and I've done workouts for the media. But the media only reported that I was at the Protestant gyms.
Right, yeah.
See what I mean?
Right,
so now they've developed this sort of like imaginary, like, I'm trying to cause trouble again between the two parties. Do you know what I mean?
That's perfect for media to do that.
Yeah.
That makes it look like you're a bad guy.
Exactly, and then like they kind of focused on that quite a lot just to build some interest up. But the trouble is, I was on a massive billboard in the middle of the city on like a skyscraper, and you couldn't. So everywhere I went,
you're there.
You know, like people would pull over in the street and they'd just like show abuse at me, and then someone else would pull over and say, "Oh, we love you, Sam." Like basically, because it was like two different, you know. And then one day, me, Graham, and Neil are walking down the street, and this 4x4 just comes out of nowhere, straight towards us. Neil's got me, grabbed me, flung me back, and just tried to run me over in the street. Do you know what I mean? It's just like crazy. I had to delete my website because I was getting death threats from supposedly IRA and stuff. You know, like that's nothing to do with me though. I don't. You know,
that's next level. That is crazy. Like people, you hear about all this internet hate and things like that.
Yeah.
And you can't believe that people sit there and do that, really, can you? Like,
that's just ridiculous, mate.
They don't even know who you are, and they're sending all this stuff to you.
But I told them that a lot in interviews. I said, listen, I'm here to box, and that's it. I've got nothing. That's well over my head. Do you know what I mean? It's well above me. All this like stuff and all this. You know, it's nothing to do with me. I'm not here for that. You know, but I think they just done it to try and sell the fight. Do you know what I mean?
How did you feel going over there? Obviously, like the Irish are very passionate people, especially if you're fighting.
The first time, it was like because he was on his way up and he was literally bowling everyone over. I was seen as an easy fight, so everything was all like friendly and everything was good the first time. But the second time, different ball game.
Nice.
They were total wars as well, weren't they? Total wars.
Yeah, I mean, Rogan is a very tough man. Do you know what I mean? He's vicious. You fight some people, and every now and again you'll get a good shot, you know. But with Rogan, every shot, even if it was a jab, it's just bad, vicious intention. Do you know what I mean? And so, I think that's why I wanted to box him, because I know how to deal with that. Yeah. Because like you know what's coming. You know every shot is going to be a bomb, and you need to be on your game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But they were.
We were going to stay over. Obviously after the fight, but things got so heated in Belfast and around the arena that basically we had a convoy at the airport to get us out of the country. We left that night.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's to the best. That, like, say you don't want to. Well, yeah, you don't know, do you? People are crazy. Yeah. Are you going to say this name, or am I going to give it a go?
Larry.
Alabama. There we go. The War Machine.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone in Norfolk's ever said that. Larry Alabama Woo.
I think that's how you say it now. That's how I've always
said
it.
We'll roll with it. Obviously, you fought him twice as well.
I fought him twice, yeah. So I fought him because at the time, I think what happened. Do you know what? My memory's a bit sketchy, but what had happened is my mum was very ill in hospital, right? And I was Commonwealth champion, and they offered me the Danny Williams fight.
Danny Williams, yeah.
And I weren't really in the right headspace for that, and then I went and done a stupid thing, and I just cut my thumb open down to the bone with a box of porridge. I lost my temper with this box of porridge, and I had this big knife, and I sliced up my thumb open. And so we had to pull out the fight, and they gave it to Derek Chisora. And the night I see Derek Chisora fight Danny Williams, I mean, Danny Williams was a mega fight back in the day, you know. He was like, some days he would turn up and then other days he'd beat Mike Tyson. Do you know what I mean? He did, didn't he?
Beat one though with one arm, didn't he?
Mark Potter was there.
Yeah. He dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah,
we fought two rounds.
We thought he was messing around. I think that was the same night that John fought Ricky Hatton.
Was it?
Yeah, it was same night. Yeah, it was same bill. Yeah. And so then after that, my mum was then in hospital. And she wasn't good at all. And I basically, they offered me the Chisora fight for the British and Commonwealth title. It's because I was Commonwealth, he was the British at the time. And I said, yeah, I'll take it. And I was training for that fight pretty much at the Addenbrooke's Hospital. Like run around the car park and just like, you know, I'd go back and we'd do bits of sparring and I'd drive straight back to the hospital. And my mind went in at all. So we just said in the end, I said, I think we need to pull out. So we tried to pull out. And they said, if you don't fight, because the Commonwealth title has been inactive for a little while, we're going to strip you of the title. So, being pridey, I said, no, that's not going to happen. So I boxed anyway, and just went in there at all, really. No. Went in there, and I got him in trouble a couple of times in the fight, and he said to me afterwards, and his trainer, Don Charles, just came through and just said, you had him out. He said, you didn't know, did you? I said, do you know what, I didn't. I wasn't even in there. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't feeling it at all. That wasn't my priority. My priority was literally my phone was just with me all the time. If I went, I'd jump out of sparring. And I'd just answer my phone just in case, do you know what I mean? And then, so then after that, things went quiet for a little while. And I went to Thailand on a lad's holiday. And I remember being in this temple. And I had these like Buddhist monks who were like blessing me and stuff. Yeah. And I just had a little pray, you know, what I wanted. And I just thought, right, I need another big fight. I need something to sink my teeth into again. And I literally walked out of the temple, started walking down the stairs, and I get a message from Graham saying, "Can you ring me quick? Or can you get hold of me quick?" So I called him. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "They've offered you the prize fight. Do you want to take it?" I was like, "Bomb, yeah, we'll have some of that." But I think it was before then that I fought Larry. And again, he was like beating everyone. He was the War Machine, knocking everyone out and stuff. And I thought, okay, we'll fight him then. And then, so we're at York Hall. I think this is before the prize fight now. We're at York Hall. We come out, we're fighting, and the fight is going pretty comfortable. I'm thinking that's all right. And then we clash heads, and I just see blood spurt everywhere. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. And I went back to the corner where Martin Bowers was my cut man at the time. And I was just, as soon as I walked back to the corner, I was just fixated on his eyes. I thought, he will give me, I'll know then how he looks, if it's bad or not. Yeah. And I walked over and I was just looking at him like this. I was just like, he went, all right. I was like, yeah, you? He went, yeah, no. He says nothing. He says just a scratch. I was like, oh, God for that. Anyway, so we went out and then he comes back again. And then the fight got stopped because of the cut, but we'd already gone over 6 rounds. By the rules, it goes to points, and I was well ahead, so I won the fight. Anyway, I walked back to the corner. Martin goes, "Get out of the ring now." I was like, "What?" He said, "Get out quick." I was like, "What?" He said, "It's the worst cut I've ever seen in the boxing ring." I was like, "Shit." I said, "You told me that weren't?" He said, "No." He said, "It's really bad." He said, "It's a hospital. You're going to have to go to the hospital." I said, "Really?" He said, "That's the gash in your head. It's just so bad." I was like, I didn't want to go. I had so much adrenaline, and I wanted to celebrate. Do you know what I mean? I thought, I'm not going to the hospital and sit in the hospital all night.
No.
I said, stitch it here. He said, we've not got the right stuff. I said, what do you mean you've not got the right stuff? He said, we've got this. It was garden trimmer wire.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? And it was blue. I remember it was like blue, like, it looked like garden trimmer. It was really thick stuff. And I said, that'll do. He said, we've got no anaesthetic. I said, just do it. He was like, nah, he said, I was going to kill it anyway. He went, I said, just do it, I'm not going to the hospital. Anyway, he sat there and he's stitching up my head and he put the first one in and I'm like, fuck me. That is like, it was killing me. But he looked at me as if to say, told you. And I looked at him as if to say, it's fine.
Just keep going.
He went, oh yeah. Doing that one, I looked at him the whole time and he's just stitching up. I was in agony, mate, I'm telling you, it was like bad.
Just trying not to react.
Yeah, but they done it and then so that was the Larry fight, and that's just reminded me actually that it was after I fought Price because I went to Thailand after that because I remember I had loads of stitches in my head, like luminous bloody garden trimmer wire in my head, and everyone kept coming. She said, "What happened to your head?" And I just said, I fell off a ladder, and I said I cracked my head, and I remember all the girls were just laughing at me, and I was like, "Why do you keep laughing at me like that?" And I said to a woman who talked English, proper English, I said, "Why do they keep laughing at me?" She said, did you tell them that you fell off a ladder and you hit your head? I said, yeah, they saw you box on that screen. So they all see me, but they all watched the fight on the screen. Do you know what I mean? So like, they knew and they were just laughing at me, yeah.
Also, touch on David Price, you obviously big guy, he had a lot of prospects. Sort of, I don't know if he beat Tyson Fury in the amateurs. There was some noise about that, if he did or not, or if they did fight. But
well, one of the main reasons why I boxed him is because they offered it to Price to Fury and he didn't want it. So I just said, well, I'll fight
they had
instead,
a bit of back and forth, didn't they, him and David Price for a little while. But he obviously was a big, but I mean,
biggest puncher in the game.
You're obviously a big guy, but he is a big guy.
He's a monster, mate. He was a monster. And the biggest puncher I've ever been in, whether it's in sparring, I've been in with some big names, mate, like, Chisora's, Klitschko, and by far he was the biggest puncher.
What was it, just like, you just feel it?
Mate, you take him on the gloves, it's just like, I don't know, mate, it's just like being hit with a baseball bat. It's just like, it's just mad.
And you watch him and he doesn't look like he's
putting
a lot into it, but he's just
that's
a big
what I mean.
geezer.
Guy's like 6'10", I think.
Yeah, he's a huge bloke, isn't he? Yeah, he is a huge bloke. Yeah. I mean,
how do you approach fighting someone like that? When, like, I know sparring you, and it's like, how like the jab, like the reach and everything, it's almost impossible.
It's hard. Well, I kind of had a plan for him. I just thought, right, he's never been that many rounds before, so I'm just going to keep rolling and not really doing too much. Try and make him miss as much as I can. I said to Graham, maybe we'll just try and step things up in the 6th round. But I didn't get to the 6th round, did I? Do you know what I mean? But I still done better than everyone else had done before me, so I was happy with that in a way. But I had a dream when he hit me on the way down.
Really?
Yeah, I had a dream. I was on my knees in my living room at home, and my daughter was running towards me. I was catching it. She's doing like an aeroplane. And I had a dream. Now when I watched the fight back, I wasn't even knocked out properly. Do you know what I mean? I was just went down. So I blacked out for about a couple of seconds, maybe. In that couple of seconds.
Like you don't feel nothing. It's just boom, just stuff.
Your signal goes from your brain to your legs is completely gone, and your legs go first.
Boom,
but your first reaction is to get up.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get up, but the referee's like, "No, you're staying down." He's holding me on the floor, and then I obviously had concussion because the next thing I know, I'm taking my kit off in the changing rooms.
Right.
And I can hear Graham talking to the Welsh boys behind me. And I'm like, I said, Graham, just humour me a minute. I said, I've obviously just boxed because I'm taking my kit off. I said, what the fuck's happened? Do you know what I mean? He's like, have a shower and I'll tell you what happened. And it's weird because you can't remember nothing. I don't know if you've ever had concussion before.
No, I haven't. No.
You can't remember nothing. You can't remember the build up to the fight. You can't remember being in the ring. You can't remember walking in the ring. And then gradually, bit by bit, it comes back to you like, like it could be 3 days later. I'll be like, oh yeah, I can remember walking into the ring now. And then it'll be like a couple of days later after that, I'll be like, oh yeah, I can remember climbing the ropes and then that happened. And then it gradually comes back to you.
Such a strange.
It's weird, mate. It's very weird.
It's strange. Yeah.
The brain is such a complex thing.
Yeah. And then obviously going into your last couple of fights, you then won the British title against Gary Cornish.
Yeah.
How did that was a big sort of moment.
So to be fair, I was like, my mum had passed in 2016 and I went in the best place, to be honest with you. But I can remember saying to Graham, I know you think I'm probably going to go off the rails now, I said, but I need boxing more than ever right now. Do you know what I mean? I need to get stuck in and trained. So we kept training, but in my head I was like, although I was training, my heart wasn't in it anymore.
No.
You know, so I was just like, you know, I don't know what to do. And then they got offered the British title fight, and there was a bit of arguing over some purses and stuff, you know, what was going to be paid and that. And then I just thought, do you know what, I can't be arsed. And I said, I'm not doing it. And Graham said, if you go your whole life knowing that you could have won a British title and you didn't, plus I promised my mum that I'd win a British title for her.
I remember seeing you after that fight actually.
And I thought, you're right. I did promise my mum, and if I go my whole career out win a British title, I'll be really pissed off. So we boxed for it. But to be honest with you, I mean, I obviously wanted to win it, but was I my best when I fought? Not at all, mate. I mean, I hadn't boxed for a year when I boxed for the British title. And then after that, I just said to Graham, because they offered us other fights and stuff, probably could have been a lot easier fights. But I was retired then in my head. Do you know what I mean? I just said, whoever's going to get me there quicker, I'll fight them. And at the time, it was Hughie Fury. He would have got me up there quicker. There were these talks about fighting Dubois and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But at the time, Hughie Fury would have got me there quicker than anyone else. And I just said to Graham, I'll fight now until I lose. If I lose, I'll retire. That's what happened.
Fury. Again, big bloke, tall bloke as well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, he was a bit more like a Danny Williams. You know, sometimes he'd turn up and he'd literally be beating world champions, and other times he'd turn up and he weren't really all there. But he turned up for me, and that's the end of the story, right?
Yeah, he's had a funny career for you, hasn't he? Sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, you were there.
You were there, up in Bolton.
Yeah.
Was it on Channel 5 as well?
I think it was Channel 5.
Channel 4, something like that. I think so. I watched it. I think as well. I watched on telly. I believe,
But he did turn up that night, didn't he?
He did. I mean, he was quite decent. Probably. Yeah. He was quite decent that night, to be fair. But then I think I started out okay as well. I mean, I was fit, healthy. I was kind of up for that fight.
You were walking him down a lot, to start.
I was getting closer and closer and closer, and I just thought, right, eventually you're going to blow out, and I'm going to take over.
Yeah.
But then the silly thing happened again, didn't it? And then it's like I could have carried on, but
it's boxing, isn't
the referee, just if they don't want you to, they won't.
They'll stop it. Yeah. And then was that immediate after that fight? You thought that'll be it then? Or?
Well, I sort of debated whether to do it again, and I just thought, can I really be bothered to especially it was on my mind constantly about health, to be honest with you, because my mum had brain aneurysm and stuff and passed away, and I just thought, how long do I push my luck for? Do you know what I mean? Is it worth just keep having these smaller fights to try and work my way up to that level again, or do I just call it a day now? Do you know what I mean? I just thought I'd got, and then I remember watching. It was AJ and. It could have been Ruiz, I can't remember now, and I can remember just thinking the hype around the fight and coming out and they were in the changing rooms and all that kind of stuff, and I remember watching and thinking, I don't think I've got that in me anymore to get up for that occasion anymore, do you know what I mean? I don't think I can get my head in that space where I can completely focus on it anymore, and I just thought it's just no point now. So then I just said, I call it a day.
That was that. And obviously you do your PTing still as well now, PTing, and did you have CAF as well? You have the CAF out?
Yeah, I had a diner for a little while, I mean, I just thought that'd just be easy. I just thought, I'll open a calf, take a bit of a backhand, and someone will run it for me. It was just 24/7 headache, to be honest with you. But it was fun as well. I had some good times there.
Yeah.
Met some good people. Some people used to come in there, and one day I was actually working in there myself, and a guy comes in. And he says, hello mate, he said, I'm from London, giving him one of these. I'm like, oh yeah, we were busy mate, I mean, I'm busy.
Yeah, you got time to talk.
I haven't really got time to talk. And I was like, yeah, what's the problem mate, what do you need? He said, we like to shoot a music video in there later, bloody blah, do you mind doing it, bro? And I was like, yeah. I said, just come back later mate. So as you can see, we're just too busy, just come back when we close. And he went, yeah, no worries. He comes back, it's Mike Skinner from the streets.
Oh, well,
oh, mate, if I'd have known that was you, I said I would have.
You could have whole place up.
I'd have said you could have had it, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'd have chat, do you know what I mean? He's like, alright, but they were like Sam, do you know what I mean? Nah, mate, he said you were busy, don't worry about it. And then me really mugged him off, not on purpose, just because I was busy, do you know what I mean? I was like manic. Yeah, so that was quite good. We had an eating challenge in there where you had to eat certain food, and if you done it, you did it for free in your Wall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. So we had the Man Bees Food from America come over and do that. And one person had done it before, and it was a girl from the UEA rugby team. Cool. And she took 2.5 hours to do it. She was trying to mush it up. But she did it. Do you know what I mean? And she just wouldn't quit. But then the Man Bees Food guy comes over, he does it in 27 minutes. He's just like, he demolished it.
What an animal. You'd smash that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. 12 minutes. 26 minutes.
Have we got time just to do this, build a boxer? Yeah. We normally finish on this. Well, so we're done at once, basically. Right. But you are the second man. We thought we'll try and do like build your perfect boxer.
My God, that's going to be too hard. How can you do that? I'll try.
I mean, you can put yourself if you want to.
Oh, mate, come on.
But
I'll say my jab, my stubbornness, maybe.
So, if you could build your perfect boxer, power, who would you choose?
Power.
Yeah, out and out, just pure power.
Past and present, or
past or present? Yeah,
past or present. Well, the thing is, I can only go on what I felt, can't I?
You felt, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I would say price for power.
Yeah,
definitely 100%.
Yeah, that's
for power. I mean, people don't understand, because like they're not in the game and they haven't been here.
They don't.
But
I've said this like friends and stuff, that they literally have no idea. When someone hit you, especially someone big, that is just like having just headbutting that wall. Yeah. But they don't understand how hard people can hit.
Yeah. That's like this Jake Paul and Joshua fight, and that people don't realise how dangerous that is going to be.
Oh, it is dangerous, but to be fair, I mean, someone like Jake Paul, he's got so much money now that he does train like a pro athlete all day, every day. He's got the best team behind him, so he is actually a half-tidy boxer now.
Definitely.
But realistically, would he be AJ? Don't be so silly, you know what I mean? It's like, but there'll be a clause in there that AJ can't hurt him, it can't be a stockage,
20%. I mean, they're going to make a lot of money either way. I mean, I'd get KO'd by Anthony Joshua for 50 million quid.
No, I'd box my nanny for 70 million, mate. You know what I mean? Sorry, nanny.
Sorry, nanny.
There's 100 quid.
Right, I'll make it quick. Speed. Yeah,
speed.
For speed.
Oh, speed. Pick for speed. I mean, we're building a heavyweight here. Can I choose from any weight or?
It don't have to be a heavyweight. It can be any weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to be realistic, you got to be fair with that. And I'd say speed wise.
It's tough, and when you're on the spot, all these fights going through your head.
I mean, if we were really going to go for speed, someone like, Ali, man, the speed of the guy sometimes, you know what I mean?
Especially for someone his size, he was quick bloke.
I mean, he wasn't never the massive heavyweight, was he? He's never big, but he was fast in his day.
He had that speed, didn't he?
For that weight, I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of other weights that were a lot faster than him. They were building kind of like a heavyweight, which I've obviously got to build a heavyweight.
You're going to go for a heavyweight. He's going for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Ring IQ.
Uysk.
Yeah, clever man. I think he's I think everyone. Someone said he's got a really actual a physical IQ of some 100 and whatever. He's actually a really clever, clever man. Yeah, he is. Just
the guys, he's just another level. I mean, when I was in the Klitschko camp, he was there, and we shared a house together for about 5 weeks. And very, very strange guy, though.
Is he?
Oh, very strange. But he's he talks a bit better English and stuff now, but I think the language barrier. When you share a house with someone for 5 weeks, and you don't really speak very much.
What was that camp like? Was that quite an experience, wasn't it?
Unbelievable camp, like everything you want is there. They treat you like a king.
They're really good to you,
They're really good to you, mate. They pay you very well. I mean, they look after you, all the best food, the best physios, the best house you stay in. Do you know what I mean?
It's just pretty cool. Yeah, that's a pretty cool story, isn't it? Defence.
Oh. Defence. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's just so many fighters, which is hard, isn't it?
Heavyweight's a funny thing for defence because it's not like Mayweather with this and that and
do you know who I actually did used to like defensive wise was James Toney,
Yeah, because he did go up to heavyweight, didn't he?
He did, but he was for me, he was like one of the all-time greats in boxing.
He was a very good fighter, wasn't he? Yeah. Well, Chris Eubank saying he's glad he never fought him because he actually.
Do you know what? The same thing happened with me, mate. When he was well past his best, there was talks about me fighting him.
Really?
And I actually can remember thinking, do you know what? I don't want to be responsible for doing any more damage to that kid because
he's old and obviously
he was just so punchy.
Barely speak, poor bloke, and he's just still fight. I mean, he had a UFC fight when he was in his 50s, I think, didn't he?
But what a legend, though. What a fighter, though. Do you know what I mean?
Great fighter, in his prime, a great fighter.
About showmanship.
Yeah, entrances, flashiness, charisma, all that sort of stuff.
I suppose you have to say Tyson Fury for that one,
Yeah, I mean,
he's a character, isn't he?
He's pretty good for that sort of stuff. You'll probably say this last one, maybe him as well. Trash talk. He's a good
Trash talk.
Yeah. There's a few. Dillian White.
Oh yeah, you had a bit of beef for Dillian White, didn't you?
Yeah, can't stand the guy. Me and him were good friends. We actually met the first time in the Klitschko Camp, the first time I was there, and we became really good friends. You know, we just done everything together, and you know, and then I was there again the second time, and we linked up again, and we were good friends, and you know, and then for some reason, I just heard him really badmouth me in the press, and I just thought, well, why have you done that? So I messaged him, so why you badmouth me in the press? He ignored me, do you know what I mean? And then I just basically just gave him forward a message, and then then we had a little Twitter war thing going on for a little while, back and forth. And then what happened was I kept saying, "Well, fight me then," and he was like, they kept like, "Oh yeah," they kept like just trying to laugh it off type thing. And then I can remember we were going to fight on a small hall show in Norwich, St Andrew's Hall.
Yeah.
And I was going to fight, and then what did I do? Is that when I broke my hand? Yeah, I've been in Germany and with Graham, and I broke my hand, so we had to pull out the fight. And as soon as we pull out the fight, we get a phone call from Eddie Hearn the next day saying, "Oh, does Sam want the fight?" And it's like, "Well, you know, I've just broke my hand." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I kind of said, give me 8 weeks. So I said, "We'll have the fight on," and then it just got. Then apparently they offered me the fight, and I turned it down, and yeah, it's just bullshit politics, really.
Yeah, that is, and you never know what's going on. You see it online, you don't really know what's going on, do you? Well, I think that's sort of everything, really.
Brings us to a nice end, doesn't it?
Brings us to a nice end. Thank you very much for coming. That's been an absolute
thanks,
pleasure. That's been really interesting, actually.
Nice one.
Cheers.
It's been a pleasure. Obviously, everyone like, comment, subscribe, share, follow. I think that's about everything. I don't know. You can't do much else online.
No, I think so.
If you're still listening, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.